Hello and welcome to the Advanced Excel class. My name is Trusha Jatyani and I am your Microsoft Excel trainer. This tutorial is divided into three parts. In the first section, I will cover the importance of two main parts of Excel interface, that is Quick Access Toolbar and Ribbon. In the second section, you will learn how to effectively format cells in Excel, and in the third section, you will learn how to perform text to column and the alternate function /fill. But before we begin, let's first understand the Excel interface. Your Excel interface consists of four main parts. The first one is the Quick Access Toolbar, which sits on the top left corner of the Excel interface. This toolbar provides access to frequently used commands in the application. The second is your ribbon, which consists of all the commands used in Excel and sits just below the Quick Access Toolbar. Third is your formula bar, which sits below the ribbon. And the fourth is worksheet, which is made of rows and columns that can be used to sort and manipulate data. Now moving back to the Quick Access Toolbar, this toolbar can alternatively be displayed below the ribbon. To do so, I will click on the drop-down menu next to the Quick Access Toolbar and select the option Show Below the Ribbon. And you will see that the Quick Access Toolbar has moved below the ribbon. Displaying this toolbar below the ribbon provides a bit more room for the icons. Moving this Quick Access Toolbar back above the ribbon, I'll click on the drop-down menu and click on Show Above the Ribbon. By default, the Quick Access Toolbar will have three commands: save, undo, and redo. You can also customize this toolbar to add more commands. Now you may ask, why do I require to add more commands to this Quick Access Toolbar? There are two main reasons. One, to save you from searching for the frequently used command in the ribbon, and to make frequently used commands easily available on a click of a button. Say for example, I want to open a new workbook. I will have to go onto the File menu, click on New, and from the New, I'll click on the blank workbook. Or I can also go to File if you have a 2003 or above version and just click on the blank workbook from the Home tab. However, if I had added that to the Quick Access Toolbar, I can just click on that button and it will open a new workbook for me. You can see that my Quick Access Toolbar already contains the new icon. So in order to add any of the new commands to the Quick Access Toolbar, I'll have to follow a few steps. So to add the new command, click on this drop-down menu again, and you can select all the commands that are given in the list to add that to the Quick Access Toolbar, but just by clicking on that command name. However, you must have noticed that not all commands are available in this list. So to add other commands, you can either go back to the ribbon and click on the command that you want to add to the toolbar. Let's say I want to add table. So I'll go on to Insert, go to the table command, right click on that, and then click on Add to Quick Access Toolbar. This is one way of adding any command from the ribbon to the Quick Access Toolbar. Alternatively, you can also click on the drop-down menu again and click on the More Command option, which will open your Excel wizard. And from this wizard, under the Popular Commands drop-down menu, you can select all commands to get access to all the commands available in Excel. And now you can select the command that you want to add, click on that, and then click on the Add button. Once you have done that, then you can press OK, and a new icon related to that particular command will be added to your Quick Access Toolbar. So this is how you can customize your toolbar and add as many commands as you want, which you are using frequently, to your Quick Access Toolbar. Now moving to the second important part of your interface is the ribbon. Microsoft Excel ribbon is the most important part of the Microsoft Excel interface. It contains majority of the commands used in the application. The ribbon is arranged in the series of tabs. Each tab contains series of related commands. You can access the commands simply by clicking on the name of each tab. Commands in the tabs are arranged in different groups. The group names are mentioned at the bottom of each group. Now let me take you through each tab in the ribbon. Starting with the Home tab, this tab contains all the commands that are used most of the time, and it contains all the commands related to formatting of the cells in Excel. Commands on the clipboard group is cut, copy, paste, and the format painter, which we will be running through later in the tutorial. Font includes commands related to formatting of the cells like changing of the font type, font size, changing color of the cell, text, etc. Alignment group has commands related to aligning your text in a particular manner. Numbers contain options for formatting your cells, while other commands like inserting, deleting, sort and filter of data is also available in this tab. Next tab is your Insert tab. Like the name suggests, it contains commands that lets you insert charts, pivot tables, and tables, which are the inbuilt commands in Excel, and also to insert the external items like pictures. Pictures can be very useful in case where you have to add a company logo in the Excel spreadsheet. The next tab is the Page Layout tab. This tab is useful to format your spreadsheet for printing. Formula tab contains details of all the formulas and functions available in Excel. Here you can search for errors from and control the way Excel works with formulas and functions. From the Review tab, you can access commands related to protecting your work in Excel and adding comments and validating your spelling. I missed the Data tab in the middle. Your Data tab contains commands required for data analysis and manipulation of functions and formulas in Excel. View tab. This tab will have commands related to the way in which your spreadsheet looks. You can also change the look of the spreadsheet from this tab. You can also hide your ribbon to make more space for the spreadsheet. There are few different ways to hide your ribbon. One way is to click on the small arrow which you can see on the right hand side, and it will close the ribbon and you cannot view it from here. To get your ribbon back, you can right click anywhere in the ribbon and untick on collapse the ribbon. Another way to do that, again right click on anywhere on the ribbon and click on collapse the ribbon to remove the ribbon. This way you're adding more space to the spreadsheet. There are few more options that can be used in order to make more space for the spreadsheet to be viewed in a single window. For that, I'll have to go to the View tab. Getting my ribbon back. I can see a tick on the formula bar and the heading in the View tab. If you remove the tick from the formula bar, the bar will be hidden and your spreadsheet space will increase. You can also remove headings from the spreadsheet. A heading is the name of the columns and the rows that is mentioned against every row and the column. Now this has added more space to your spreadsheet. Now moving to the second section of this tutorial, and that's the cell formatting. Cell formatting, like I mentioned earlier, sits under the Home tab and is divided into 3 different groups. And those are fonts, alignment, and the numbers. We will go through each group in detail. Also, we will learn about the Format Painter command. This command is used to copy the format from one cell and paste it to the destination cell, which saves your time in looking for the right format. So let's start with the first group, which is the font group. Under the font group, you will find commands like bold, italic, underline, etc. Let's see what each command does. On my sheet, I have listed down all the commands available under font. If I have a text that I want to highlight and make it look bigger and darker than the rest, I can select the cell with the text and click on the option bold. As soon as I do that, it will turn dark and little bigger. Similarly, if I need to show a particular text in italic, I can select my cell and click on the option italic from the font group. It will change the style of the font that slants the letter to the right. Then comes the underline. As the name suggests, this option will add an underline to your text. You can also add background colors or change the text colors by using the next option. So to add the cell color, I can use this bucket sign, and to add the text color, I can use this capital A with the color sign at the bottom. I can also decide which color I want from this drop-down menu here. Same goes with the cell color also. Now moving to the font type and size. If you wish to change the way your text appears on the screen, you can do so by selecting the desired font from the options available. There are multiple options available in this list. You can also change the size of the text by entering the number that you want the size to be in. Once you have done that, it will change the size of that font. Another way to increase or decrease the size is by clicking on the letters A, that is the larger A, and the smaller A signs that you can find under the font group. This will increase the size while the smaller one will decrease the size. Moving to the next group, which is the alignment. Again, as the name suggests, this group contains all the commands related to aligning of the text. Let's look at my second example. Here I have the heading mentioned as the functions, and I have the list of function names shown below. However, the function is shown in one part of the list. Now, to ensure that the functions are heading for the whole group here, I can merge these 4 cells that I can see into one cell. In order to do that, I will select all the 4 cells together like this and click on the merge and center. This way, all the 4 cells have now been converted into one cell. And you can see that the same font and the same format is being available in that 4 cells. And anything that you type here will be considered as one cell. Also, you must have noticed that this merge cell is aligned to the center and middle. I can use the alignment options that you can see here to align it as per my requirement. For aligning the text to the top, middle or bottom, I can use these three icons here. And to align it to the left, right or center, I can use the bottom option. Just like if I try that, this takes me to the top, this takes me to the middle, and this takes me to the bottom. Similarly, your other option takes me to the left, middle, or right side. So this is how you can use this alignment option. Next is your wrap text. Say you have a lengthy text which is running out of the cell, something like this. In that case, you can use the wrap text to increase the row height and accommodate the full text. In this case, the column width will remain the same. Now moving to your last group, which is the number. This group contains the list of formatting categories. To access the formatting categories from this group, select the cell that you want to format and then click on the small box in the group format cell list. Here, once you do that, your format cell wizard will open up and all the categories that are available for formatting will be shown in the box. As you can see, the first option in the wizard is the general option. Any text or number entered in any cell will be automatically formatted in the general category. So you will see that if I enter a text here, it is shown in the general format. If I enter a number here, that is also shown in the general format. Moving to the next format, which is the number format. Let's say if I want to convert a particular data into the number format, I can select that particular cell which I want to convert into a number format. After selection, I will click on this box again and go to the number category. Under the number category, a couple of things that you might want to know. The first thing is, as soon as you convert your cell into a number format, it will automatically add the decimal places to your numbers, which even if there is no decimal place, it will add as 2 decimal place, which is .00. If you want to remove that decimal place, you can go back to that box and remove the decimal places from this list by entering 0 or using this 2 different arrows that you can see here. So this is how you convert this data into the number format. Another thing that you can see in the number format is that if you look at these numbers on the right, on the second column, these numbers are a little bigger in size. And to read these numbers will be a little difficult. If there were commas available at the right place, it would have been easier for us to read these numbers. So to make it easier to read these numbers, I will select the cell, go on to the format cell option again. Under the number category, I will change it to the number format and use the 1000 separator. This 1000 separator will add the commas at the right place and it will become easier for us to read the number properly. And then click on OK. Here you can see all the commas have been added. There is one more way to add the comma separator or the 1000 separator, or to decrease and increase the decimal places. And these are some shortcut keys that are given on the top in the number group, which you can see the icon for a comma. That icon can be used to add the 1000 separator. These 2 icons that you can see, this is to increase the decimal place and this is to decrease the decimal place. Moving to the next format, which is the currency. Going back to this box, the currency will allow you to add or format your cell in format that cell with the number to show the currency that you want that number in. So let's say if I select that cell and then go on to format cell, select the currency. From the symbol, I can select whatever currency that I want to add or show to those numbers. Once I have done that and click on OK, it will automatically add the currency which I have selected to the number. However, when you add the currency to a number, it will be placed next to the number. Now, to make it more appealing to the viewers, the currency can be aligned to the left of the cell, while the numbers to the right of the cell by using the next formatting category, that is the accounting. If you click on OK, you will see that your currencies are shown on the left and your numbers are shown on the right. Next is the date format. The date format option can be used to format the date in a specific format. While you can use this format type to show the date in a particular format in a cell, it is easier to use the other option, which is called as the custom option for formatting your date. You will see shortly why do I say that. For example, when you enter a date in a cell, it will automatically format itself in the way your system has the date format. So if you see these few dates have been entered here, if I want to change this date format type from DDMMYYYY to DDMMMYYYY, which means showing the date in 2-digit number, month in the 3 letters, and then year in 4-digit number, I can select all the number or all the cells where the date is, go on to the format cell dialog box, and then instead of selecting, I can select date and look for the right format from the list, or just go on to custom, enter the right format in the type. I'll put DD-MMMM. Here you can see if I put 4 N's, it is showing me the name of the month, but I just want first 3 letters of that month. So I'm going to put only 3 M's and then hyphen YYYY. Once I do that, I can click on OK and it will change the format in that particular format that I had asked them to put. Next is the time. The same goes with time. If you have entered time in Excel and want to change the format, you can choose the custom format instead of using the time format. So I go on to the format cell window, select the custom. Here you will see that it is already showing in HMM. If I want to add seconds, I can also put an hyphen and put SS. It will add the seconds into my list. Or if I want to show this data in AM or PM, I can leave AM, HH and MM and add AM hyphen PM. This will let me add the exact time with the AM or the PM. Next is your percentage. The percentage format is used to show a particular number in the percentage form. However, you have to be mindful that when you change any number or any cell which has number into the percentage format, it will automatically multiply the number which is there in that cell with the 100 and then give you the result. So you will see that it has multiplied whatever number was there, it automatically multiplied it with 100 and given you the result. Another way to do that, again, there is an icon which you can see here. You can click on this icon to change it to a percentage, and that's how you get the result for the percentage as well. Now I will be moving to the third and the last section of your tutorial, and that is the text to column or the flash fill. So flash fill or text to column are the two most important commands used as a part of data cleaning strategy. Excel has these two great tools which works with all types of data. Let's see how and where to use these commands. When you export a data from a different application into Excel, most of the time the data ends up into one column, while these have been originally placed in different columns. For example, on my sheet, you will find name, phone number, and city showing in the same column. If I want to split all the three into different columns, doing it manually will be very time consuming. Your text to column command comes as a survivor. To use this command, first select the column which you want to split. So you can either select from the second, select the whole list till the end, or you can select the whole column, either way. And then from the data tab in the ribbon, click on the text to column from the data tool option. Once you do that, Excel displays the text to column wizard, which consists of series of dialog boxes that walk you through the steps to convert a single column into the multiple columns. In this wizard, there will be two options that you are required to select from: delimited and fixed width. Delimited is used when the data that needs to be split is separated by a delimiter, such as comma, spaces, slashes, etc. So basically, if there is a separator in your data, you can use delimited option. A data here contains a space as a separator, so we will use the delimited option. So I'm going back, click on delimited, and then click on next. In the next window, I will select the delimiter type, which is this space. So I go on to space, remove the by default tick on the tab. Once ticked on the appropriate delimiter, data preview will show how your data will be split. You can then click on the finish to split your data into multiple columns. So this is how you can see that it has moved into the different columns. However, you will notice that your original data which you had in the first place has been splitted, and so you cannot see your first column as originally it was placed. So if you want your data to stay as it is and then split the rest of the data into different columns and this to stay intact, you can also do that by selecting the destination cell. So for example, if I select this data, go on to text to column, select the delimited as my option, go to next, use the space as my delimiter. This time, instead of clicking on finish, I'll click on next, and in the next window, I can select the destination cell where I want my result to be placed. Now, because I want this data to be intact, I will select the next cell, which is adjacent cell to the first data available, and click on finish. This will allow the original data to stay as it is and to split that data into the remaining cells. So you can do that also. This is how your text to column works. However, in 2013 version of Excel, a new command flash fill has been added. So, but why flash fill? Now, text to column works with many types of data. However, sometimes you will encounter data that can't be split using text to column. For example, if you have variable with data that doesn't have delimiters, in this case, flash fill will be your survivor. Flash fill is an Excel feature that automatically fills values in a column based on a pattern identified in the adjacent columns. So let's see in our example, there are some data placed in a single column. The goal is to extract the number from each cell and put it into a separate cell. Text to column command cannot do this because the space delimiters aren't consistent. And in order to use the flash fill, we will have to copy the number from the first cell containing data and paste it in the adjacent cell, which in our case is B1. So now I will first copy this data or just type it in the next one, which is 20. Once I have done that, I can keep my cursor in the first cell, go on to the data tab. Under data tools, I will find the option flash fill. Once I click on the flash fill command, it will automatically identify the values that needs to be picked up from each of the cells. However, it did not correctly extract the decimal numbers, but picked only digits after the decimal place. You'll see in this case, you'll also see in this case, So, flash fill needs a little help sometimes. Immediately after using the flash fill, change the value in the first cell where the issue is. In our case, the first cell is this 9.5. So I'm going to enter 9.5 and then press enter. This will help flash fill to understand what changes needs to be done. There is a limitation to the flash fill. It will not automatically update your result when your source data changes. For example, if you change the number in cell A1 to, let's say, 150, Excel will not update the number in B1. You will have to perform the action again if you change any of your source data. Moving back to the text to column, there is one more part on the text to column which I want to show you, which is something called as the fixed width. We have already discussed the delimited, and then we showed how can flash fill be replaced for text to column delimited, but there is something called as fixed width. What is that fixed width? Fixed width is used when each component in the data to be split occupies same number of characters. Like in our example here, you will see the list of car years and models. Because every year in the list is 4-digit long, we can use the fixed width here. Again, let's select the whole data. Then go on to the text to column. In the wizard, select the fixed width this time and click on next. Excel will automatically guess where you want the split. If it doesn't do that, you can click and drag the line to move it. So how do you do that? If you don't see anything, you can click anywhere in the Excel to get the line, and then drag the line where you want that split to be placed. Once you have done that, you can either click on finish or you can click on next to decide on the destination cell. Again, if you set the destination cell as default, which is the column that your data comes from, in that case, A1, you will overwrite your original data, which we have seen in the text to column delimiter as well. So here we finish all the sections of this tutorial. Hope you found this insightful. Keep watching for more such insightful tutorials. Thank you.
To know more, follow and subscribe to Upgrad.